Why do we need additional classrooms if enrollment isn't growing?
If it was a pure capacity question, the answer is we wouldn't. And we're not at capacity. However, the board has tasked the administration to best prepare you guys for what's next in the best manner we can. With so many avenues for graduating seniors to take now, whether it be college or the military, tech school, apprenticeships, trade schools, culinary school. No matter what you decide, you may just go to work. And if that's your choice, that's fine too. But that's what it's about, is we need to be able to offer you guys the best education with the most choices that we can. And in order to do that, we have to be able to grow those programs, and that takes classroom space.
Will the ag program be going away?
No, the ag program's not going to go away. In fact, the ag program, the CET programs are actually going to be able to be enhanced, or we're going to grow those programs. We are moving them, like the ag classroom now will be a little closer to the greenhouse. It's basically a new shop, okay? And how the administration and Mr. Wabb decide to build that out, and what type of programming they want to use for that going forward is up to them. But no, we're gonna grow those programs.
Will taxes go up for property owners?
Taxes are going to go up a little bit. They're going to go up $1.87 from the $13.41 that they are now. It's going to bring us up to a total of $15.28. Now, before we panic about that, in 2017 we were at $16.32. So as recently as 2017, we were actually paying more than what we're going to be paying going forward.
In the board meeting, you voted against the project. Can you explain why?
I can, but before I do so, I have to back up to the spring and explain a little bit more about the process. So when the building committee brought us a plan, and they also brought us a bond amount. At that time, the board knew we were split, and being as it was such an important vote, we decided to go ahead and vote yes to let the community or the district decide what they wanted to do and if they wanted to move forward with the project. Fast forward to the fall, after the first bond was voted no, the committee brought back another plan, which was the same plan and the same amount of money. That's where the board was split 2 to 3 as far as whether or not we take the same plan for a second vote. I've never been against the project. I just didn't feel like what we were getting for the $11.6 million was going to outlast the lifespan of that bond. I was nervous about that. It looked like we were going to cover what we needed now, but maybe not in 10 years. And this bond is going to outlast me. It's going to outlast the current administration, and I don't want to be in a position where in 10 years we're going to have to do more and we can't.
What changed your mind?
We were able to do some due diligence, okay? OPN provided us a survey to send out to the community. And for me, personally, that survey was priceless. We got such good feedback from the community. My takeaway was that whether that voter voted yes or voted no, the common denominator is that everybody was behind additional classrooms. And so that's where we needed to put more focus. Okay, the community, the people are good with classrooms. Now let's try to maximize our dollar. Let's get the most we can get for that $11.6 million. The board with some really tough conversations came together and changed the design to maximize, to really maximize the price per square footage. I just don't think we can get any more for our money than that's planned right now.
What changed in the plan?
Quite a bit. The bathrooms are still going to be updated. We're going to still have some renovations done in a large majority of the building, and we're going to cut some of those bigger classrooms like the library into 2 classrooms and things like that. But we're really maximizing our dollar is by filling that old gym space with classrooms from top to bottom. Okay, I think right now it's penciled in to be about 11 classrooms in that space. Could go up to 12. We're going to put a shop for the CET programs up by the greenhouse. The auditorium is in still, so we were able to keep that in. And then another big change is that we're going to put a multi-purpose building out at the sports complex. Excuse me. That'll also free up some of the parking issues we have, because right now that old gym is basically used for youth programs, youth practices in the evenings. We very seldom use that during the daytime. So by moving a multi-purpose building out there, it'll relieve some of that parking issue on game nights during the winter.
Can you tell us about the auditorium and multi-purpose building? Why put it at the complex?
The auditorium is really going to enhance our fine arts programs, band and choir, and we have some really good leadership in those programs right now. They're really growing. We see participation growing. But to answer your question, the auditorium is going to be a 500-person auditorium, and that's going to be in comparison to the old gym. When we do things in the old gym right now, that only seats 300. Now, I've had questions regarding that auditorium. Is it going to be big enough to house a graduation? Of course not. There's just too many people that come to graduation. That still have to be done in the gym. But it'll give us a much better place to have musicals, band concerts, that type of thing. A whole list of other uses for that, that space as well. The all-purpose building out at the Martin Complex, so we could put batting cages in there. There's going to be a couple basketball courts. The options are endless. Football games, it's going to allow for not only visiting football teams to come in and utilize the locker room there, so they don't have to come to the main campus. They'll be out there. Our football team will be out there. And one of the most important things I think it's going to add a storm shelter, so that when we do have bad weather out there for football, and especially softball during the summer, we'll be able to utilize that ability to get kids out of the weather.
What happens if the bond doesn't pass?
Probably the first thing that jumps out at me if the bond doesn't pass is that we can't put it back out to vote for another calendar year. In that calendar year, prices are going to go up for when we do something. But the bigger issue for me would be if it doesn't vote, or if it doesn't pass, is that we're going to have to scale back and make it a smaller project. Right now, I think we're maximizing our dollar. So if we were to take away the auditorium, for example, then we have to move those classrooms out of the old gym, because the old gym has to be used again for the fine arts. Okay, so now we're looking at brand new construction that would be on the northwest corner of the school, and that construction per square foot is much more than doing that internal construction in that old gym. So if it doesn't pass, it's going to be pushed out at least a year. The price per square foot is going to go up, and we're not going to get as much for our dollar as that we're projecting right now. Yeah, this is before your guys' time, and you probably don't care now, but when I got on the board several years ago, I think it's been a while, but we were actually borrowing money to pay bills. We were borrowing money from a bank to pay teacher salaries, okay? And when you're sitting in my chair, that's pretty scary. We made some tough decisions. We've made cuts. But right now, the fiscal health of the school is really good. We have 3 months of expenditures already in the bank. Okay, so we're like $3 million or $2.5 million in the general fund right now, so that we can pay bills, we can pay salaries, and with the additional space that we're gonna acquire here with this new program, we're going to be able to handle those extra expenses it's going to take to maintain that extra space. So now I'm going to flip it on you guys. Now it's your turn. You talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on the new plan and the bond. And
I'll start. My biggest thing with looking at this bond is probably the multi-purpose space. Just being a four-sport athlete, you know, there's a lot of commotion and things with the parking lot and at the school for like game nights, and it just gets so packed, kind of like you talked about. And just keeping those younger kids' sports practices out at the complex now will free up parking for visitors and their schools and fans, and that I think is just going to be a great way to clean all that up. The other thing that I really like is the new classrooms in the old gym, because that's a space I feel like isn't used to its maximum capacity. It's kind of just an empty space throughout the day, and then it has sports practices at night. But during the day is the day that we should really try to use it the most. Having more of those classrooms will just offer more classes and more programs, which is what every student needs. I feel like every student will get the education they deserve and the education that they need to do whatever they're going to do after high school.
I'm most excited for the auditorium because I'm in choir, and right now we use the little gym for performances like the musical or coffee house, or the big gym for concerts, and we have to like set up and take down risers every time we have performances, and using the auditorium will give us a space to just have our own space to keep our stuff so we don't have to move it around for other programs.
Personally, I'm very excited about the multi-purpose facility at the complex, because being a football player, the locker rooms out there would be huge, because at half times or before the games, we have to go sit on the bus. And if there is weather out there, that's where we go, is to the bus. We don't really have a space for everyone to go. But if we have this multi-purpose facility out there, then we'll have a spot for everyone to go. It's big enough for everyone to go. And it's just going to be a lot more comfortable than going over and standing by a bus.
The last thing that I was going to talk about was the taxes. I was just looking at the graphics, I was amazed by how after this bond, if it passes, just that the taxes are going to be lower than the other schools in our district. And the other districts are paying higher taxes. And I feel like with all the new renovations and all the new things being added with our bond, we're getting more for our dollar. I feel like we're going to have so many more like opportunities, educational and athletics and fine arts, just than any other of the districts have. And they're paying way more, it looks like, in taxes than we would be paying.